Hello, everyone.
Late.
Welcome.
Oh, I thought I was starting.
I mean, in terms
You
of
start.
topics,
I'll.
yeah. Okay. All
You
right.
start.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 24 of the Couch Co-op podcast. I'm joined by Cal, as always, and we have resurrected the dead, it seems, and have brought back Edmrod93 out of nowhere. So, how are you doing, man?
Doing great. How you guys doing?
Yeah, wonderful.
We're good. We always look forward to having someone else on the show. We can bounce ideas off of. We kind of just rehash when it's just us. We seem to just rehash Call of Duty bashing, so it's nice to mix it up. But maybe we'll get into that tonight. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that sounds like a plan.
We know you as the correct me if I'm wrong. Was it Zombies Alert?
Yeah.
Okay. So, would you mind giving the people at home just a brief, I mean, however long you want to spend, overview of what that was, kind of your experience on the internet?
I mean, yeah, my thing with that, like, I think the zombie community kind of took that out of proportion a little bit. It started off as like a parody, right? Like the whole idea of like doing Drum Alert, but like zombie style was something like we joked about, I'm actually going to try to do it and try to like kind of create the show based on like a zombies newsfeed, kind of like what we have with called Zombies HQ at the time, right? But more of like how do I say it? I don't know. Try to make it a little more exciting, right? Than just showing like gameplay on the screen and things like that.
Right.
So I started with the Twitter, right? Like I started like just at that time it was crazy because everybody was around Black Ops 3, so there was a lot of hype and all that sort of stuff, and the leaks were crazy too. So started with the Twitter channel and just got hype around Zombies Alert, and then uploaded the episodes for the betas and stuff like that. Right, but it was actually just supposed to be a parody. It was not supposed to be about drama, and I think I've said it 100 times. Like when people were like freaking out, it's like this is not about drama. This is about just a zombies news show. Just kind of like what we had on Keemstar for like regular YouTube news, but people took that out of proportion. So and yeah, I think that the rest is history, right? But for the few episodes that I did, it was quite fun. I mean, it was like I said at that time, Twitter was crazy, so it was really awesome to be able to see that. And then like getting the leaks and getting information from other people because the popularity of like the Twitter handle and all that sort of stuff. Like I don't know if you guys remember, but even Keemstar at some point replied to the thing and saying like, get your own style, man. And I'm like, dude, this is a parody. Like, relax, like so. It like I said, it was quite fun. But I think with the decline of like zombies in general, I think it's everything just went downhill. I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, previously, before Zombies Alert, though, you did kind of just like mostly zombies live streams and miscellaneous videos to do with the mode. Is content creation like completely like out of your life now, or is that something you think you'd go back to?
So that's a really good question. It's something I've been thinking about lately because now, back in the day, I think I've mentioned to you too, but I used to work in the field, so I didn't have a lot of time. Like by the time I came home from work, I was typically very exhausted at the end of the day, and I didn't have time to like actually create the videos that I wanted to make. Right, like I like to think of myself as a creative person when it comes to like videos and the way I want to make them and that sort of stuff. But you need to have the time and be able to like edit it, and at the same time, you want to make it, recurrent thing. So it's not like they're not waiting 3 months for a video and things like that, right? So,
Yeah.
but now that I'm working from home and I have more time to be able to do that sort of stuff, I've been thinking about and toying with the idea of like maybe doing a comeback of some sort. I don't know what that looks like. Definitely won't be zombies related, but something. Yeah, I've been toying with the idea. I just haven't really quite decided what I want to do. I have some, like I said, some different type of channel ideas and things like that, but what exactly I haven't like pinpointed yet.
Gotcha. And you actually didn't you start up a podcast like no more than 2 years ago, I think, right?
Yeah. No, I've done many podcasts at this point. Like I actually love podcasting, right? So like
Mm-hmm.
podcasting, and I think they've had a resurgence over the past like 5 to 10 years, right? So it's everywhere now. Everybody has a podcast.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I've done it many times. The main thing with that too is also consistency, right? Like you have to take the time every week, make sure you go through it, And that's just true with like any type of creation, right? You have to make sure you're dedicating, and putting that time into what you want to do. So,
Yeah.
so yeah.
Yeah. So, and you kind of hinted towards it, but I just thought it was funny, like when you were doing the zombies alert. See, that's right around when I started. I started 2017 ish content creation. And I think as zombies people, we can all probably say, you start out with like the dumb tutorials. You're like, I'm going to show you how to do this, but there's like 50 people that have already done that same video. And then it kind of brings you to a place where you're just lost. Like you really have nowhere to go in the zombies community. And then the zombies community just fell off the earth. And now we
Yeah.
have whatever, the people that watch Noah J's videos, and then that's, the people that clown on Mr. Dalek JD, and then that's pretty much it. But what would you say for you at the time was like, was it, because I've always wondered about like, say Keemstar or someone, having something just pop off like that. What does it feel like to have something just go crazy like that? Like just gain popularity overnight? Is it surreal?
See, that's the thing with the zombies alert thing. I wouldn't say overnight. Like, if I recall correctly, I think it took me like 2 to 3 months before I even dropped the first episode, and I was
Okay.
just daily on Twitter. Like, I don't know how it happened so quickly. I think again because of the popularity of Black Ops 3 and everything like that. But I remember just being very consistent on the Twitter, the Zombies Alert Twitter handle, right? That I even ended up getting banned because most of the big YouTubers were like reporting the channel because like I was putting the leaks with the emojis. I don't know if you guys remember all that shit, right? Like the emoji leaks and all that sort of stuff. So I remember the last tweet on that account, it was like a Mr. Waffles that he had like a turtleneck or something like that. I said, "Oh, this guy looks like a demonetized Steve Jobs," and that's when I got my account suspended. It was just like a joke, right? Like I feel like I see a lot more stuff on Twitter than that, but like again, it was just I don't know. It was, I guess it was a period in time where the hype and the game was so good that everybody was just into Call of Duty, right? And I don't know if we'll ever have that again. It's one of those that's like the community's great, but there's also a lot of drama, man. Like I remember, I mean, I'm sure you guys know, but whew, it was it was interesting in all angles, right?
Pack-a-puncher.
Like, well, yeah. Well, if you guys remember, I had the pictures of Pack-a-Puncher on my and the set right for the Zombies Alert, and yeah, no, it was cool. Like there was just so much stuff going on, so much
Mhm.
stuff. And
Yeah.
I think that's what helped kick it off, right? It wasn't necessarily just about the drama alert or whatever it was. It was just more about like the time and place that happened. It was just like everything was at its peak. So I think that's what kind of helped with that sort of stuff. But it was definitely fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was definitely the best time to be a Call of Duty Zombies fan. Or, I mean, I would say, as far as the community was, it was such a great community, and now you just have the people that are. I mean, I hate to say it because I'm part of them, but are too brain dead to go find another game to play, and they're just still clinging to the nostalgia, which isn't a bad thing. I mean, I make it sound like a bad
Yeah.
thing, but you have just so many people that are just holding on to the feeling of Black Ops 3 Zombies, and they want that again. And like you said, I don't think we'll ever get that again, and it's unfortunate because what a special thing that brought so many people together. But yeah, I mean, Riley and I have kind of talked about what you did, and we just laugh because people took it so seriously, like you said. And
Yeah.
this is a parody, guys. Like, I'm just clowning around here. And
Yeah.
even the fact that Keemstar was upset that you had stolen some of his glory, I guess you would call it. I don't know. He takes himself pretty seriously, but yeah.
Yeah, and like I took it as like like man, if Keemstar's seeing this stuff, and we're like a small little community in a grand scheme of YouTube, right? Like I'm doing something right, kind of thing, right? Like so that's what kind of like I said, like everything kind of fell off at the same time where it it was really fun to do, but man, it was a lot of work, right? Because you had to be on camera, you had to kind of like, and that's what I'm saying, like going back to like making and producing the videos, it was kind of a pain in the ass. It was fun, but it's a lot of work. And in my defense, I don't think there was one video that I did that was ever like drama related. I don't think I ever covered drama in any of those videos that I did for like Zombies Alert. It was all about like I remember if you guys remember like Benny 445, right? The little kid that used to make the little parody videos and
Oh
everything
yeah.
like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
The music videos. He was
Yeah.
like I think it was like 7 or 8. making like
I think so.
the zombie songs. I remember I had him on like one episode of like the mixtape or whatever. So like it was really fun. Like I said, I like looking back at it, I can only think of like the fun times that I had making that sort of stuff and being on Twitter and doing the emojis and all that sort of stuff. But it was definitely a time and place.
One of my favorite times from when you're making content was ZWC2 when ZWI was happening, and I think you were covering when like Turbo was like bodying his straw poll votes or whatever, and then Pack a Puncher was being Pack a Puncher, and then you wrote a diss track on him. Or like some kind of like dissing video, because I specifically
No, yeah,
remember
yeah.
one where you're like hitting a punching bag with his face taped to it.
Yeah. Yes. So that was the ZWI because remember on the second year you had to make a for smaller creators you had to make a video of why you should be picked to be part of the competition.
That's right.
And the issue I had with that, and nothing against Turbo, right? He made a great video. Like there was a lot of people that made really cool videos, but the issue, and I think that's what I addressed in one of the videos that I made at the time during the competition, is it became a popularity contest, right? So like you had the big YouTubers saying, "Oh, go vote for whatever," and like that it kind of took away from the competition of being like, "Hey, you might not know these people, you just have to choose out of whatever it was, choose what the best video was and all that sort of stuff." So even that again, like it became drama related, but it wasn't like necessarily like I wasn't mad at anyone. I was just frustrated about like I spent time on making my video just like many other people did, and it became all about like, oh, shout out to this guy, go like his video so he can get up on the poll. So it wasn't like necessarily botting, but again, it became a popularity contest and not what we signed up for, right? Because if you recall, like you had to pay for your ticket, you had to submit it, and all that sort of stuff. So it was frustrating how it was handled, right? So again, nothing against the people on it, is just the way they handled it was not ideal, and yeah.
Yeah, it makes me think of kind of going back to what I was saying, the people that are hanging on to Call of Duty in general, but also because there's so many good games out there we could be playing, people that are still buying Call of Duty. But I don't know, did you guys see what Ninja said this last week about Call of Duty?
No. What happened?
I did.
Do you remember exactly? Do you remember exactly what he said? Because I'd be paraphrasing. I'd probably butcher it.
He says something in the terms of like, people that are still buying Call of Duty at full price and playing the same damn game we've been playing for 10 years are stupid, basically. Is something along those lines. And people are getting up in arms, but he's right. I mean, let's be honest. Like I'm still so frustrated about the transition from like the regular Modern Warfare to Modern Warfare, like this Warzone 2 or whatever it was, that we like lost all the skins and all the shit we bought. That pissed me off so much. Because during Cold War, I grinded the shit out of that game, right? I tried to get everything unlocked, and then like just be like, "Hey, Warzone 2 comes out," and then all the stuff you bought is gone.
Yeah.
And yeah. But I mean, Ninja is right. There's not much to disagree with that comment. It's reality.
Yeah, no, it was so funny because you see the entire Call of Duty what's left of the Call of Duty fanboys up in arms. He basically said, "You poor mentally abused Call of Duty fans are just going to buy the game and you fell for it again," or something like that. But he's true. But it made me think of the meme. If I think it's from the Avengers. I don't remember his name. But the meme where he's like, "It's true, but I don't like it." That's what it made me think of. And it's unfortunate, but anyways, we don't have to talk about Call of Duty anymore. It's a very well abused topic on this show.
Yeah.
So, sorry. I'm going back to it. I have one more question. So besides zombies just completely falling off, was there anything that like kind of made you decide to get away from it, just moving on, or what was your decision on that?
No, I mean, at the time I was like moving. So like I've been going back and forth from like Nevada to California. So like I was moving, and there was a lot of stuff going on, personal life and everything like that too. I was just getting out of a relationship. I just was not in the mindset to be making content. So that's why I kind of just like stepped out of just making it and streaming it in general. And Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's anything necessarily that lets you just like, hey, I don't want to do this again. It was just like, I just don't have it in me or have the time right now to do this stuff. But like I mentioned, it's always been something in the back of my mind. I'm like, hey, I have some ideas of what I want to do. It's just a matter of like executing those ideas, making it happen. So,
Yeah.
we'll see.
Well, that'd be awesome. Let us know.
Yeah. All right. Well, switching topics, if we're ready. Um, we've been talking about Logan Paul and Dylan Danis for quite a while now, and it all came to a head last night in a pretty uneventful fight, I'd say. I didn't watch it, but I saw clips and I saw people talking about it. It was, I think it was 5 rounds, 4 rounds, something like that. And
I think it was six, right?
I think it was 6.
six,
And the
okay,
sixth round is when they like broke it up and everything like that.
yeah. Well, uh, apparently Dylan Danis only landed a total of 9 punches in that entire match, and then he tried to tackle Logan Paul at the very end, and then they all had to rush the stage and break him apart. And then Danis started attacking Logan's security guards more than he attacked Logan Paul in the actual fight, which was kind of funny. And then he went on his Twitter tirade, uh, pretty much ever since that last night. So, what are your guys' thoughts on that?
I mean, you basically summed it up. The whole thing leading up to it was actually kind of interesting. I will say, not that I agree with everything that Dylan was doing on Twitter with this Logan Paul's fiance. It was quite funny and entertaining. I'll give him that. It's I saw a video of like his Twitter impressions during those like few months from like the fight announcement until right before the fight, and he gained something like I think 1.5 million followers and something like hundreds of millions of views just from like pictures of this. I mean, like I said, it was very smart of selling the fight, but the way that he did it in the ring was not in his favor.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like Dylan was the good guy up to the point where, because he started out calling out Logan for all the crap he's done, which is amazing. We need that. We need that everywhere. We need to call out, we need to call out people that steal other people's money and run these scams. We should call them all out. And then when he started attacking Logan's girlfriend, I'm like, that's kind of borderline. Like, well, a couple of them were funny, but like over time, like, come on, man. Like, if that's your only line of attack towards Logan, is that like, it's kind of lazy, whatever. I was raised to respect all women, most of us are. And so to me, it was kind of like a little too far. But then you get in the ring and you just make a clown of yourself, dude. Like, it was just a literal shit show. And I can't describe it any other way. But, at one point I saw a clip where he just lays down on his back with his legs up in the air,
Yeah.
and he's just like, it's like, dude, what are you doing? Like, I understand you are, you're like a black belt in jiu-jitsu and all this stuff, but you're in a boxing ring and you really just like destroyed your whole, I don't know. You destroyed your credibility on so many levels because now you're just a clown and everybody's going to take you as a clown. And you were just, I just think he was in it for the clout. He was trying to get that bag, that Twitter bag, because now you get paid for impressions. So,
Yeah. And it definitely worked. You know what I mean? Like he probably made a huge bag off Twitter from those impressions. And yeah, I think at some point, like, because watching that fight, I didn't buy the pay per view, so I definitely watched it on illegal methods. But seeing that fight, I think at some point he just kind of gave up, right? And that's when he started laying down, he started like clenching and everything like that, and knowing that's like there's nothing else he could do at that point. He was gonna lose, and I think that's what his mind just kind of went to, like, hey, you know what? I'm just gonna do what I want, and it did not go in his favor.
yeah, like, sorry. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say I think even if he had lost, but actually fought, actual boxed, you know what I mean? Like it would have been a different story. But because he just kind of made it a clown show, I think people were very rightly upset about that.
Yeah, I think he made it a clown show, and like anything you do to make Logan Paul look like the hero in the end is very poorly done, because that's what he did. He could have went in and just fought his heart out, but he didn't. Like Riley said, he landed a total of 9 punches. He landed more punches on the security guards, is what I see most people saying. And so I just think, like, dude, you had this chance to expose Logan Paul as a cheat. If he really is on steroids, all this stuff, but you just made a clown of yourself. And now, like, he had me, during the fight, I'll admit I was cheering for Logan, because it's like, at least Logan's trying. Like, at least Logan is like fighting honorably, I guess, if you want to call it that. And this other guy is just like, I don't know what you're doing, man. You try to put him in an arm bar and a headlock and stuff. That's not boxing. Like, if you want to, play by the rules, if you want to go into the octagon, that's one thing. But if you're in a boxing ring, just box, dude. And if you can't, that's fine. But
yeah, but then at that point, don't sign up for it, right? Like, don't,
exactly.
Yeah.
And like, I'm all for, shit talk. I think it's hilarious. I think that the stuff that happened before the fight was so funny. But again, like, he proved, like, and maybe the whole thing with the microphone was staged. I don't know if you guys saw that.
I did see that. He was actually cut, so you could see it at the match. He had that cut on him.
Yeah.
So I mean, it definitely happened.
I saw people saying it was planned, it's staged. I mean, it didn't look like it. Like you said, he was really bleeding, but leading up to it, and then just nothing. Just the biggest nothing burger we've ever seen exposed.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And same thing with I don't know if you guys ended up watching the KSI and what show was it?
Nick
Fury, right?
Nicky Fury. I can't remember.
I think that's a Marvel character.
I don't know. It's something like that.
It's Fury, but I don't know the first
Tommy.
name.
Tommy Fury.
Tommy Fury. That's
Tommy Fury. Yeah. I was like, we said Nick Fury. I'm like,
it didn't sound right when I was saying it, but yeah.
Yeah, for a second I was like, that can't be right. But I mean, like, KSI, and fair play to him, because him and Logan, right, like, started this whole like boxing stuff like way back when. But man, I personally, I don't think KSI can box at all. Like, all that dude does is hug the whole like 6 rounds or whatever it was. Just him like just hugging the whole time. So and I think those were on the same card or on the same pay-per-view. I'm not sure, but like, it was $60 right for the event, and you watched all the fights and everything like that. But man, what a waste for somebody that paid money for that, because yeah, that was not good.
Yeah, I feel like, I think that's another big scam, is paying pay-per-view for YouTuber fights, because it just, and again, like, getting back to the Logan Paul and the Dylan Dennis one, if I'd pay, I would feel so cheated for that, man. I would feel more cheated from that than if I had invested in Crypto Zoo, because it just was so bad.
Well, and apparently Dylan had his own like crypto scam too that didn't like take off, but he did scam some people, right? So that's what I've been hearing. Like, people are talking about, like, they were both terrible, but ideally, like, they wanted Dylan to win, and yet he kind of like threw the towel. So it's not a great look.
There's a whole website dedicated to it. It says like, are you a victim of Dylan Dennis? And there's like 12 different crypto scams on there that you can select, and yeah, it's this whole thing.
Yeah, that whole crypto stuff is just that's a whole other topic. That's like, man, you can just go on for days about that, like, YouTuber and crypto scam. And it seems like it never ends, yeah.
Did you guys see the Photoshop picture that Dylan Dennis posted with him on his back and then Logan's fiance? Yeah. On the bed. Yeah. It's what a night is the caption for that one.
Yeah.
But yeah, it just, again, nothing that we haven't already said. Like, I think we were all hoping Logan would get put in his place. Dylan would come in and, basically be the Dark Knight and save the day, but, he didn't. He didn't do anything. He just, he threw landed 9 punches, whatever it was. Just really, really disappointing. And I really hope this puts a nail in the coffin of YouTuber boxing, but I don't think it is, because now Dylan is saying, I saw earlier, he said to Jake Paul something to the effect of like, well, your brother couldn't knock me out. You think you're man enough to knock me out, or something like that.
I have a quote here. Hey, Jake Paul, your brother hits like a bitch. If you knock me out, I'll retire forever and give everyone who likes this 2,000 microphones. It doesn't say dollars, it just says 2K and then a microphone emoji, so who knows what he's giving away, but
I don't think there's any way in hell that he gets another fight, YouTuber boxing, at all, with anyone after Wade just did. I would be very surprised.
The only YouTuber fight that I've ever been excited for and never actually took the time to watch was Wings of Redemption and Boogie 2988. We've covered that when that was happening here, but yeah, that one was actually really entertaining and fun just the whole way through. Even though Boogie didn't like throw any punches or whatever, he still did better than Dylan Dennis though. I think. I mean, he stood up the whole time, so.
Yeah, I didn't see that one. I think I saw the highlights on Twitter right at the time, but
Yeah.
yeah, that was an interesting one. I got those two guys up there to.
Yeah. Is there anything else that you wanted to cover on that, Cal?
I don't think so. I mean, we already hit most of it, but like you said, Ed, I don't think he'll get another fight after this, and I hope he doesn't because. Maybe if they wanted to rematch in the octagon, I would watch it because supposedly he's really good at jiu-jitsu. But I think again, he overall just ruined his reputation with that fight.
Yeah, and it already wasn't great, right? Because he's been dodging fights for how many years? Because I think he dropped off of the fight last year with somebody, and now he's finally fighting Logan this year. So I think he's been kind of like already not at a great spot. And then after this, like I said, I would be very surprised if he fights anyone anytime soon.
Yep.
What else you got for us, Riley?
Yeah, well, let's just do it now while we're on drama. So there's this YouTuber named Sniper Wolf or SS Sniper Wolf, whatever you want to call her. She's been doing like bottom of the barrel bad content. I think nobody likes it. It's clear people watch her because she's very attractive, right? I think that's the gist of what everyone's saying. And she does this.
She's got life on easy mode, is what you're saying. Recruit mode. Sorry.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, she does like reactions to like TikToks, and it's been proven that those reactions are like fake and they're made ahead of time, and then her editor or whatever just puts these reactions on whatever matches to what video she's watching, and she doesn't credit the people, the TikTokers. So this guy named Jax Films went out of his way to make an entire new YouTube channel. And over the past year, I think he's been making videos about Sniper Wolf and giving credit to the people that she hasn't been. And I guess Sniper Wolf got really sick of it, and a few nights ago she posted on her Instagram, I don't know how many followers she has, but maybe one of you guys can look for me. She posted to her however many millions, I assume, of followers that I'm X amount of miles away from Jax Films. Should I go meet him up or go talk to him or whatever? And then in the next story, there's a picture of his house that she took. Like, hey, I'm out here. Come talk to me. And then people were just going off on her because she literally went to his house and doxed him. And then she deleted the story, of course, because that's really, really bad. And yeah, there are some people defending Sniper Wolf, like I said, I think because she's attractive. But like the majority side here, I think, is on Jax Films because it's a lot like the Quantum TV situation. We keep bringing that up a lot on here, but it's very similar, and honestly, I don't think YouTube is going to do anything about it. She's going to stay on her. She's going to keep her channel. So.
5.6 million followers on Instagram.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah.
Yeah, it just, we keep seeing the same stories over and over again. Just a little bit different. There was like the Boogie and what was the guy that showed up at Boogie's house? I don't remember.
Frank Castle?
Yeah. Oh, is that it?
I think so, yeah.
No, I don't know. It's been
regardless,
a long time ago.
Boogie shot a gun in there. That's what people know the story.
Yeah,
from,
like,
so.
But you show up to someone's house and you're effectively doxing this person to hundreds of millions of people. It's on the internet at that point. Same thing here. I think Jacksonville. I think he has a family, and I think he has kids and a wife, and which is terrifying. I just don't get it on YouTube's end. Like, they keep letting these people, like Riley said, Quantum TV is a good example. He doxed the Act Man, And I don't know if you guys saw this. I think it was last week. The Act Man posted supposedly Quantum TV's family came out and said that he had plans to end the Act Man.
Mm-hmm.
And is his channel still on YouTube?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
It's
Quantum TV. Okay.
Yeah.
I was thinking
TikToks
it was,
and everything. Yeah.
I just think that type of behavior is unacceptable. If they ban people all the time for stuff they do off of YouTube, and then these people are doing this actually on YouTube. I guess Sniper Wolf wasn't, but Quantum TV was. But I just feel if you're going to ban one person, you have to ban them all, or it's just a broken system, and there's clear favorites, and everybody can see it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's exactly what you have with the Twitch stuff all the time, right? Like certain streamers get away with anything they want to do, but others get banned right away, right? Like it's the whole, not to get too political or anything like that, but the YouTube thing is a whole another can of worms with the banning. Like Russell Brand, right? Like a few weeks ago, got banned off of like allegations, got his whole channel demonetized. Like the UK government was contacting YouTube and all this sort of stuff to get him like deleted. But then like doxing, which is extremely illegal here in the US, like no big deal. That stuff is really bad.
Right. Well, and that's the argument you hear a lot online is, well, you can't, free speech is free speech, and you can't yell fire in a crowded movie theater, but that's still legal. Like it's not a free speech argument. It's actually illegal. And same thing, it's illegal to dox someone. So you're defending someone who broke the law if you're defending Sniper Wolf. And like Riley said, it's basically a bunch of underage, horny young boys that are defending their favorite YouTuber who just happens to be really attractive, or older, maybe it's not younger, maybe it's older too. I don't know, but
yeah, I mean, just Sniper Wolf, I remember her from like back in the day. Jack's film, same thing, right? Like when I used a funny story about like when I first started doing YouTube, but this was like years ago. I'm sure you guys have heard of Yang Ye, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I was at a Skype call with them, I don't know, 2000, whatever, like way back in the day when you have like channel managers and all this sort of stuff. And that's how I got partnered with the first channel, because he used to be one of the channel managers. It was very small at the time, right? But like Sniper Wolf and Jack Films were huge at that point. Call of Duty and all that sort of stuff. So like they've been YouTubers for a long time, and to be able to get away with stuff like this, at bare minimum, they should have got banned from Instagram. You know what I mean? And that's bare minimum. But it's nobody does anything when it's convenient, I guess. You help their end. It's very interesting.
It takes so much for, and I hate to make it sound like a anti-feminist or whatever. I don't care about politics. I don't care about any of it. But it takes so much for these female streamers to get banned. Like you had a Linity that flashed her downstairs, and and she threw a cat, and somehow people were more upset about the cat or flash. I don't know. I don't remember all of it. But you've had so many of these things that happen, and I don't know how many we have to have. I don't know how much proof we have to have before it's just so apparent that there's a protected class online, and it's disgusting, and it really, it's really annoying, and we can sit around and complain about it, but it's not going to change. So,
and the arguments.
Sorry, no, go.
I believe I was just going to say,
I actually, when I was
too.
I was streaming on Twitch a couple of years ago, and one of my moderators got in a big fight with one of my viewers, and it just sticks in my mind because they were just having this argument, and I don't remember what I was playing, but they were just having this very heated argument in my Twitch chat, and I just remember looking over and just shaking my head. It's like, dude, it's not going to change anything, but I get it. Like, I get why men are upset about it, but it doesn't change anything. That's Twitch's whole thing now, is pushing it to the front page.
Yeah.
And sorry, you were going to say something.
Yeah, no, I was going to say with like the Sniper Wolf stuff, the actual arguments that people are having like on favor of her is like, he's harassing her. He's making all these videos on her. But it's like, dude, it's freedom of speech, right? Like it's online, it's public. It's not like she has hidden videos that nobody can be talking about, right? They're all public on TikTok or wherever they are. So if people want to react to it, they should be able to. Sorry.
No, you're good. Sorry.
No, yeah, that's what I was saying. Like, it's all public. I don't understand the.
Which is hilarious because that's her whole shtick, is she reacts to other people's stuff. So.
Yeah.
something else that came out that I actually didn't know until this whole Jax Films thing unfolded was that she was actually arrested for armed robbery back in 2016, and that has a bunch of other people like just getting up in arms even more about this. So that's an interesting thing.
Yeah, I think she has 2 felonies or something like that, right? Like she's got caught twice for something.
Huh.
Is what I yeah, because I was reading up on that too, actually this morning. Um, and yeah, she again, those are YouTubers that have been around for a long time, so nobody's perfect. I know she's clearly not perfect either, but like this whole thing, it's like yeah, you're taking it too far, you
Yeah.
know.
Right.
Uh,
Yeah. Once it goes into real life, that's where I think everyone draws the line.
yeah, especially if you have a family, like which he did. So it's like that's I don't know what I would do.
Well, he
Right.
does
Well,
live
and
in
that's where
America, so.
Well, and that's where the thing like with Boogie that happened, and I mean you can get mad at Boogie, but this guy shows up on your lawn, and of course Boogie took it too far as well. Like it was pretty obvious nothing was going to happen, but he did make threats. Like there were possible death threats against him, so you can't like blame him too much. But I just think the tribal, the tribal instincts of people is really fascinating to me because it's like people are defending Sniper Wolf, they're defending Quantum TV. You're always going to have people on either side of everything, and it blows my mind how we are so tribal in everything. And it might not
Yeah,
always fall into politics, but it is like this person versus that person, so much of it. And it's fascinating to me. Like I'm sure there's some interesting like social sciences behind internet and how the stands, you get so attached to this one streamer or whatever.
yeah. And I think that goes across the board for everybody. Whether you're a small streamer or a really big one, you're always going to have those fans that like no matter what you do, you're always right.
Yeah.
Which I don't know about you guys, but to me, I don't like that at all. You know what I mean? Like, it's like I said, nobody's perfect, but yet you have something to where like you can't have communication or like a right or wrong, or be able to even like express sometimes your feelings about certain things. It's kind of ridiculous, right? And
Mm.
it happens quite a lot.
Yeah. Sorry, Riley. I feel like I'm just like chatterboxing and I'm not really
Ah,
giving you a chance to say anything.
nah, man, that's okay. I pretty much said I want to on this one, so.
Okay. Yeah, definitely. I mean, wrapping it up, scary stuff. I mean, it's scary to anybody, but you throw kids in the mix and it just is it's a new ball game where, people, they don't understand what they're doing. Like we have seen, there was those, thankfully we haven't heard, or I haven't heard of any swattings gone wrong in a while, but like I think it was like 2017, 2018, there was a couple of them there that went bad, and it's terrifying. And it made me think of the zombie stuff that was going on with custom zombies and how people in the client could steal your IP and steal your
Yeah,
information and everything. It's your information is out there whether you want to admit it or not, and it's terrifying.
yeah, yeah.
So, all right, Riley, I got a question for you, and you,
Okay.
Ed. What is the worst you have ever trolled anybody?
Okay. Um, Ed, I don't remember if you specifically had a hand to play in this, but so, and I brought this question along because this was back in the day when you were live streaming, like I think almost daily. Um, so, so sometimes late at night, myself, Ed, and one of his other moderators, Fallen Soldier, would sit in a Discord and watch a couple streamers. I'm not gonna name who, but we would just mess with them in their
I know,
chat, and
I know exactly where you're getting at with this.
and there was this one guy. He would do like high rounds on like Zombie Chronicles maps because that had just come out at the time, and I don't remember. I actually don't remember his name, but he and there was this one thing that we would always like just pick at him. He wore the same shirt every day, or at least the same colored shirt, right? Like a white V-neck or whatever. and I remember one time I was going at him so hard from like 3 different accounts. I had like my school Chromebook, I had my laptop, my phone, saying, "Dude, that shirt must stink. Take that shirt off. Why are you still wearing the same shirt?" I'm like all these different accounts, and then eventually he gets up, walks off screen, and then he comes back with a different shirt on. That was probably the best, I think. Yeah.
I remember that. Yeah,
Yeah.
if it's kind of messed up thinking back about it, but yeah, I do remember. Didn't he end up deleting his channel or something like that
I
over it? Because I remember it was something like blue. It was like a blue shirt. I remember that because I did just recently went through my like old Gmail accounts and I deleted a bunch of like old channels or whatever that I have. I'm like, why do I have so many blue shirt channels or whatever it was? And I was, it's gotta be this.
Yeah,
So as soon
definitely.
as you brought it up, I'm like, I remember this now. I'm like, holy shit! Yeah, this was a long time ago. And if I recall correctly, like it wasn't just a random stream or two. Wasn't he like talking shit or something to Fallen, and then that's how we like
Yeah, yeah,
found him,
exactly.
or and then that's how it kind of like it wasn't like we were just picking on him randomly. Like he came to one of the streams or whatever. I was like going off to one of the moderators, but then we found his channel when he was streaming it, like basically doing the same back to him, right? Um, and if I recall, like I said, I think he deleted his channel.
Yeah, that might be the case because I was on his PSN friends list for a while, and I don't know, some point over the last few years he removed me, but yeah, that was really funny. But yeah, I'm pretty sure Fallen had approached us about that. I was like, yeah, there's this guy who like shit talks his community. Let's go troll with him or troll him. So
Yeah,
yeah,
That's
that's
funny.
fun. So
I would say that's probably the same as for me too. I'll put that one on top there. I don't think I've ever trolled anyone that hard.
That's funny. Yeah, me. I was trying to think if there was any like trolling on the internet, and not really that I can think of. But so my parents had. I wasn't a very good son, and my mom is an amazing woman, and I wasn't very nice to her a lot of the time. But me and my brother thought it was the most hilarious thing to mess with my mom, and she. So I have younger siblings, and she was always sleep deprived, and it's so mean now that I think about it. But I still have to laugh about it. It's like kind of messed up. But we had this old, the old kitchens from like the 80s where they had like you would turn the faucet on and then to the side there was a little sprayer that you would hold down and you could, hose off your dishes and stuff. Well, we found out, and other people did it, I'm sure, but we would put like an elastic band or we would tape it because it was, like a black. So we'd get black electrical tape and we would tape the thing down and we would tell all of our siblings like don't go in the kitchen, don't turn on the sink. But and so my mom would go in and she would find it, and every time like we would do it and she would spray herself and she would just start screaming, dude. She was so pissed off and messed up, and I felt bad because I wasn't a very good son. But and we would the thing that made it funny and the thing that was like made it trolly, I guess you could call it, was we would go back and do it right after she had cleaned it up. And we would think, surely this time she has learned her lesson. And no, every time. And I mean, it has a happy ending. We ended up building her a new kitchen with my uncle who has a cabinet shop and like probably to fix all the water damage we had caused. But but that was when you asked that question, that's what it made me think of. Fun times with my brother. Probably not so fun for my mom, but I don't. Did you guys ever do anything like that? You were better
No,
sons than me.
no, no.
I mean,
I'm Portuguese, right? So if I did stuff like that, I would get my ass beat. So definitely not.
We felt so safe until my dad got home and he would just unleash on us. We actually, getting off topic here, we actually thought we were so smart and we went to the hardware store because that was my parents' thing. No locks on your doors. And we installed a door handle with a lock on it. So we locked our mom out and we were in there playing Halo or whatever. And my dad came home and he's pounding on the door like, open this door. And we're like, no, laughing, tee hee, thinking it's funny. And he just shoulders the door. And it probably wasn't that hard now that I think about it. But I just remember like in the movies, the door just shattering into a million pieces. And I'm sure the door jamb just broke a little, but it was terrifying. Like most scared I've ever been in my entire life. But anyways.
yeah, I was a pretty good kid. I never like trolled my parents or anything like that. And In fact, I never really did it to people in general, in person anyway. Online is a completely different story, but however, there was this one day in art class in like the sixth grade, and it must have been April Fool's Day or something, because I just had the sudden urge to do this, and I don't know why. I sat next to this like really nerdy girl, and we have like stools, and I glance over, I see a glue stick, and she still isn't in class yet. So I just put as much glue as I can on her stool, and then she comes into class and then sits down, and like 20 minutes later she tries to get up, and the scarf that was like wrapped around her waist gets like stuck onto it. And I never said a word about it to her, but yeah, that was funny, but also really terrible because she did not deserve that at all. So yeah.
Well, I think that's what makes your story so great. Is the guy was a loudmouth, or I don't know who you're talking about, but from what you said, he kind of deserved a little bit of trolling. But that's when I think it's unfortunate that kids are, I think that's the difference between trolling and bullying. Is trolling is somebody that's like maybe has it coming to them a little bit, that can defend themselves and dish it out, but bullying is just, there's innocent victims that were just
Yeah.
collateral damage.
Yeah, that's well put. Like I look at trolling like if you're willing to put it, you got to be willing to take it too. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like if you want to troll somebody, you better be hope that they're going to do the same to you. And if you don't like that, you can't take it. Well, that's just too bad. It's just how it goes. Whereas bullying is very one sided.
Yeah.
So
well,
it's
well, well, and I think if I can, kind of go back to the beginnings of the internet, or me on the internet, or in general, people joining the internet, I think people don't realize that haven't been around it. Is someone will just come in and say the meanest thing to you, and they will just wreck you and destroy you. But you're on the internet, like you're putting it out there for everyone, and but if you're not prepared for that, you're just going to get destroyed. And I feel like, for better or worse, I think our society has learned that. Our generation definitely has learned that you have to just be prepared to, defend and attack at any point, which probably isn't the best thing, but
yeah. Well, it goes back to what we were talking about earlier about like YouTube and all this sort of stuff, right? And like that's why you have to be prepared of what you're putting out, right? Whether
right.
people are gonna like it or hate it, you're putting it out there, so be prepared for it. And two, it makes you like I think all of us here that used to do YouTube or continue to do it, right? Like at some point, you always think like, oh, is this good enough? Is it not good enough? Like you always like fighting internally amongst yourselves of like, do I put this? Do I not?
Yeah.
Like that battle never ended for me, right? It's always like, oh, is this good enough? So like, I like to think I'm like my biggest critic when it comes to that sort of stuff. So if I don't enjoy it, I don't think other people will, right? And I think a lot of people are that way. But it goes with that. Like anything online, like you said, it's get ready to be picked apart.
Ed, do you remember someone named Yeti?
Yes,
Yeah, that was
yes.
another one that came to mind while you were talking about that. There was this other guy named Yeti. Def, as far as I remember, did not deserve it. He and I don't remember like specific events besides one. I think it was you that like sent a picture of like a guy in a Yeti costume, like, or it was like a guy in a Yeti costume bending over some woman or something, or it was like vice versa. And then this
Was that on the old Discord?
I think so, yeah.
I think that Yeti guy, the reason I remember is because it's actually one of my friend's friend. So like the whole joke is that we joked about him being a Yeti, so
Uh-huh.
that's why I remember that name. But um, yeah, yeah. I mean, there's a lot of that. Yeah, a lot of that.
Oh yeah. And another thing that I would do like late at night is I would try to find people who are like streaming from the PlayStation 4 who had text to speech on, and I would just type the most horrid things, and then it would just say whatever I typed in, and then they'd have to like shut down their stream or something. Yeah, it was funny. So
PS4 streaming was wild, dude.
Yeah.
I remember that when that launched. Like, if you didn't have a, the PS camera, right? When the PS4 came out with the streaming, like you were missing out. Like that was like, I think it was one of the easiest ways back in the day to grow the YouTube channel. That's how Packet Puncher, I think, kind of started,
Yeah,
right? It
oh
was
yeah.
like off of like YouTube streaming. No, not YouTube streaming. Yeah, YouTube streaming through the PlayStation.
Right.
But then the bot and everything like that surely helped too. But
Yeah.
different topic.
Sub for shout out.
That's it.
Yeah. Do you guys remember when Mr. T Lexify and JC Backfire did the girlfriend stream? Dude, I will never forget that.
Was that when
I don't
JC
know if I saw
Backfire had like a hat upside down and like red lipstick? Yeah.
Yes, because Packet Puncher did a girlfriend stream, right? Like it
Yeah,
was
that's
getting like a
right.
bunch of donations and everything like that. So then Mr. T did it with JC Backfire, and they did like based a parody of that. Dude, I
Uh-huh.
was fucking dying.
Yeah,
There were
that
some good times, man. There were
yeah.
some good times.
Man, like
There was some good times.
yeah, that was like during Z House 2, ZWC 1, I think. Yeah, that was great.
Yeah, it was the first one. Yeah.
Well, Riley,
Hmm.
I have another question for you.
Okay.
What is the worst toilet you've ever seen?
Okay. So, for first things first, I didn't mean for that to be a question. It was just a story, but sure, we can go in a round table. Why not?
Eh.
So yeah, and I only brought it up because this only happened like a few days ago, and screw it, man. I'm gonna be moving soon. I'm not gonna be working there much longer. Um, the worst bathroom I have ever seen is at this warehouse that I work at, and it's you walk into it, there are cracks in the floor. The seals, like, okay, so there's like, you walk in, there's sinks and mirrors, and then there's like five urinals and like five stalls. Well, let's see, two out of the five urinals are not working, and three out of the five stalls are not working. Um, and if you look inside one of the urinals, because I mean, if you're sat next to one, you're bound to look into the one that's not working. It's there's like cockroaches and whatever, I don't, a nest I guess inside of it, just cockroach poop. I have no idea, just stuff that shouldn't be in there. And then you go you go into one of the stalls like I did this week, and it's just it's like someone just like squatted over the toilet seat and just let loose and it was covered in like poopy toilet paper. There was no water in the toilet, so it was like clogged or something, and like it was backed up. It was so disgusting. Um, uh, yeah, that was just so gross. Another side note story. Close to a year ago now. So the men's and women's bathroom in this section of the warehouse has like its own hallway, so it's like doored off. And one day I walk into it, and I swear to God, I've never smelled a worse smell. It was like vinegar and diarrhea and just a mixture of something that I just couldn't put my finger on. And for that like month that those bathrooms smelled like that, I would take the extra 5 minute walk across the warehouse to do my insulin shot or go to the bathroom, whatever, because I was not staying in that hallway, man. It was so disgusting, and it took so long for them to clean it, so long for them to get the smell out of there. Jeez. But yeah, my workplace bathrooms are not the greatest, and they're actually renovating the bathrooms now, not those ones for some reason. They're doing the ones at the front of the building, which are much nicer than the ones where I'm at. Doesn't make any sense, but they're doing that. So, but I'll probably be gone before that's finished anyway. So, whatever, man.
I was happy you put that on our schedule because I wanted to hear that story. Okay, I've got one. I wouldn't say it's like the worst or most disgusting, but it's memorable. Probably the most memorable bathroom I've ever walked in. I was this last summer. I was driving home visiting my wife's family in Washington State, and driving through butt crack of just rural Idaho, and we stopped at this place because my kids had to go to the bathroom. And we walk in, and most male bathrooms will have two urinals. They'll have a little bit taller one for the taller guys, and then a little bit shorter one for the kids and the short kings. But this one, dude, this bathroom was built by a man, a capital MAN man, because I'm a relatively, like, a little slightly above average. I'm 5'11", and so I can hit most urinals, but I could not, dude. I had to aim up to hit this urinal. This urinal was so high on the wall, like it was probably a foot higher than any other urinal I've ever seen. Like, the tallest plumber in the world designed this bathroom for himself. And I just remember, like, just what? Like, and it was it was disgusting because not very many people can hit that shot. Like, there was just pee all over the floor, but it was the only one available because, of course, both of the stalls are broken. So then I'm trying to hold my kid up so he can go, and it was just disgusting, just a disgusting mess. And I should have taken a picture of it. I need to go back by that place just so I can send a picture to Riley, just so he knows I'm not lying.
So
it was.
What were there like sinks or like a way to sanitize yourself afterwards in there?
Yeah, there was a sink. Yeah.
Oh, well, that's a plus. One thing that I forgot about my bathroom, just real quick, there are no spitting on the floor signs everywhere. And, and so sometimes when you go into a stall, there will be a pile of spit dripping down from the side or like just sitting there on the floor. It's disgusting, man.
And that's crazy too for a work bathroom. That is insane.
Yeah, there's like no one above the age of like 25 besides me. It's really weird. I don't get it. Yeah, who knows?
I mean,
maybe when I move back, I'll cross that same path and go into that one. I don't know. We'll see.
I think the worst one I've had is this was years ago, but walking in, I remember the stalls were all like flush, so you had water everywhere, and then the actual urinal, somebody took a shit in the urinal, and yeah, that's the worst one I've seen. That's one that you just go in, you're like, nope, walk right out.
I always laugh. My only references are Call of Duty zombie references and the Office references, but I always just laugh when Meredith comes in and I think Michael asks how everyone's weekend is or something, and she says that her son took an upper decker, and that's exactly what that makes me think of.
Yeah, it was a big one too. Yeah, but other than that, I haven't had many. I try not to get too TMI here, but I typically try as best as I can to not have to go number two outside of the home. So I don't encounter a lot of crazy ones, but yeah, there's been a few that it's like, yeah, I'm just not going in here. I'll stop at the next place because yeah.
There's this one story that comes to mind, and I can't not tell it because it's so bizarre. Back when I was working at Amazon, like almost 3 years ago now, there was so I go to the bathroom, and there's no problems with the toilets or any of the fixtures or anything, but there's this guy at one of the sinks, and I assume he's trying to clean out his sinuses because he's like stuffing hand soap up his nose, and then he starts to eat it. And then I kind of like glance over at him, and I just leave. I wash my hands and leave, and I was just baffled. What was that guy doing? I still don't know to this day, but yeah.
Yeah, it's always crazy when you walk into these, and like, I don't know if you guys have had these, but like you go into a public bathroom or whatever, and there's these grown men just like moaning in there, and it's I just can't hold it. Like, it's so funny because it's just like, holy shit, man! It's like, it's obviously a very very vulnerable spot for people. I get it, but like sometimes it's like too much to handle. You just gotta like walk back out because it's yeah.
Yeah, if there was one business model for like a gas station that they could do to just instantly like skyrocket their people patroning their store, it would be known for having the cleanest restrooms in the world.
Yeah.
Like you like because we always try to avoid like the you always try to avoid the ones like I showed up to because you know they're going to be disgusting. You know it. And like typically Mavericks are okay for those in the western side of the United States. You know what a Maverick is. You know Mavericks are pretty good, but there's not a lot others that you go to, but that would be that's $1 million idea for anyone that wants it.
That's why you just go to Starbucks. You know what I mean?
There you
Go to
go.
Starbucks.
Well, what else we got, Riley?
All right. Well, I got our last topic. Um, we talked about Ren a couple episodes, I think a couple episodes ago, and he released the new song and actually a new album. His new album Sick Boy and new song Money Game 3. And I think that it's it's my personal favorite song, and I think that it tops High Ren. I think that's kind of his like de facto best song, by most people, I would say. But yeah, Money Game 3 is awesome. The music video is even better than the song itself. Like the cinematography and the storytelling with the visual storytelling is just fantastic. Like I just couldn't get over how good it was.
Yeah, I think in music, I think there's this overlap now between music and music videos, and where they're headed is just basically mini movies. I don't know if you guys are Falling in Reverse fans, but their music videos are just incredible, insane. You know, they are like watching an entire movie. The latest Falling in Reverse song, I don't remember what it's called off the top of my head, but insane. Doesn't matter. But you know what Ren does in his videos is incredible because it's all one shot, like never cuts. I don't think there's any cuts in any of his videos that I can think of. Maybe some of the older ones, but you know, this newer style, it's all one shot, one continuous shot, telling this beautiful, you know, crazy story. Money Game 3 is, you know, a crazy story, but you know, I think that there's this, you know, we need to Ren needs to make movies. Like he has such a talent for storytelling. And um is this your first Ren song, Ed? Have you heard
Yeah,
of him before?
I've never heard of it until I got the link, and yeah, I mean that's the one thing that I think we discussed it right before. So recording it, like it was very visual, right?
Hmm.
Like you're watching it, and it kind of turns really quickly, right? Like it goes, because I'm into pianos. I actually listen to like the older school music, like Elton John and that sort of stuff. I love like I don't know how to play pianos, but I love pianos. Like that's one thing that if ever could learn, I would love to learn how to play it. But it kind of just starts very like slow, and it kind of just turns upside the head. And like you said, it's like the cinematography alone is so good that you can kind of like you're hooked in the story, right? The lyrics almost go like it's almost like not the song at that point. It becomes like you guys said, like a movie, and it's just like you're going through the story he's telling, right? So it's really well done.
Yeah, he I mean I can recommend a couple more because I found him about a year ago and I absolutely love everything he's done. But High Ren is a must. Like that's kind of like his big song that everybody knows him for. The Tale of Jenny and Screech. Have you watched that one yet, Riley?
Not yet, no. I got I think through Jenny and Screet, or like halfway through the second one. But I didn't finish it now. I still have to do
So
that.
if you watch, so there's the Tale of Jenny, and then there's the Tale of Screech, and then there's the Violet's Tale. It's a three-part video basically, but he has one video on his channel where he does them all together. But just the way he can tell a story through music is like I would love to see him direct an entire movie that way. Like just music is like it's based on music, but he's telling a story. Like I think he could do something amazing. Like he is very talented.
Yeah. I think he even
He
said at
also
one point that's like his main goal is to get like a Netflix movie or series or something.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
And do like a musical, what I mean? Like I don't know if you guys saw one from. It's an old movie by now, but like John Travolta, he did I think it was the remake of Hairspray. That movie's still good, right? But it's a musical, right? Like it's basically it's just songs the whole time. And I'm actually not a huge fan of musicals, but when it's well done, it's
Yeah.
you know, you almost can't tell that it's music that's being played the whole time. And yeah, I mean, I'm sure based off that video you guys sent, yeah, you'd probably do a really good job doing like a musical short film or something like that, And um,
Yeah, so and just a little bit about him because I realize I haven't said like we haven't explained who he is, or maybe you researched it a little bit, but he had a music deal all lined up with Sony. I think he was like 19, like really young, very talented. And then he had this sickness overtake him and he didn't know what it was. I think they told him, correct me if I'm wrong, Riley. I don't remember what they told him. It's been long enough now.
Lyme's disease.
Well, I think that's what it ended up being, but they diagnosed it as psychosis. Like it was
Okay.
just all in his brain. Like, and so for years, and he'll talk about it in some of his songs and interviews and stuff. He suffered quietly because there was nothing anyone could do for him. And then come to find out, it was undiagnosed Lyme's disease that was causing his problems. And but that's where like High Ren and Sick Boy, those two in particular, talk about like his mental health, and that's like his big thing. And CNN even did a hit piece on him, kind of saying like this is terrible, like we can't have people talking about mental health, and it's going to inspire others to, and which the argument's stupid because we need to talk about mental health. Like the younger generation that only grows up on the internet, they know they
yeah,
experience it and they don't have anywhere to turn to it. So having somebody like Ren, I think, that talks about his own experiences and, like basically is, we are so, our culture is so tied into music. Most cultures are, but like the younger internet culture is so tied into music, and music is such a part of everyone's life. So yeah, he is amazing. He's done amazing things, and I can't wait to see what he does with his talent.
Yeah.
What, Riley? What?
Oh, nothing. But most of this, in fact, I think like every song except for Money Game 3 in this album was made like well over a year ago, from what I know, and and High Ren was just made in the previous year or so. So like I feel like now like we'll finally start to see what kind of an artist he really wants to be, because it seems like he's not that his old stuff isn't good. It's just that it feels like he's embraced his character in what he wants to do more so. I think with the Money Game and High Ren. And another song that I will suggest that is my personal favorite of his is Suicide. That one, oh man, it's so catchy, but the lyrics are pretty dark. But yeah, it's very cool. And the music video is too on that one. I'm pretty sure it's like some kind of like AI animation, something like that. But yeah, it's a really good one.
Yeah, I I absolutely love everything he's done. So he'll put out a song that I'm like not sure about. I'm like, that's okay. It's not as good as this one, which is my problem because I'm comparing it to like a completely different song. But he just has a way of taking like one idea or one concept and making something out of it, and yeah, it's crazy. Suicide. So not to spoil it for you, but Suicide is based off of like personal experiences he's had in his life, and um, so just very very powerful. Like I think we underestimate the power of good media in our life because we are so
yeah.
used to bad media. People, like all the drama stuff on YouTube, and um, but yeah.
I mean, especially good music too, because it doesn't come very often. It's very few and far between, right? Yeah,
Yeah, and I think last thing I'll say is he's a very wholesome person too. Like you can tell by the way he he does he'll do a song. What's the one, Riley? The Is it Animal Flow? Yeah,
Yeah.
Animal Flow. Like it just seems like such a dark, weird song until you kind of like get you kind of get where he's going with it. Like he's trying to like improve. I feel like his rap street cred or whatever because he can. The guy can rap, and then he'll put there was another guy. Did you see the diss track on him, Riley? His reaction to the diss track?
King Dada.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's this other like no name rapper that's basically trying to latch on to Ren and boost himself up like people do on the internet. And Ren did like a reaction diss track to him, and it was very like so well done. Like he didn't rehearse it. Like he did it all off the top of his head, one shot. But then at the end, he like builds them up. He's like, look, guys, you know, I played your game, now play mine. Like, be a wholesome creator, and people will. Now, I'm even going to tell my people to go over and subscribe to your channel because I think you are really good at what you do. But like, you're just you know, you're playing into like uh the media's thing, is which is like dividing people, and like, because I think he's a black guy, you know, and he kind of says like, you're playing into this like racism card when you don't need to, because you're really good at what you do. So everyone go check this guy out. So anyways,
Yeah. But I
Riley
think
knows
it's
I can't stop talking enough good about him because I really like him. But sorry, go ahead.
no, the thing you were talking about to me is the whole thing of like people always expect, you know, like what's the easiest way to the top? Whereas like, hey, if you just make good stuff, it'll
Yeah.
eventually get there. Just I feel like nowadays, and I mean I think that's been true with YouTube forever, but like people don't have the patience. They always expect like, hey, I'm gonna make one video and that video better hit, you know, 1 million views by tomorrow or something. It's just like that's not how it goes, man. Unless you get very, very lucky, it just doesn't happen. You know, so people have to be, you know, more humble with the how they do their stuff, right? Like whether it's good or bad, just do it and put it out there and see what the reaction is gonna be. Like they're never gonna know until they, you know, put it out there. So um yeah.
Yeah, and I think if I can latch onto that and kind of expand it, I think because me and Riley have talked about this. We talked about, I think, the first episode, our experiences on the internet, and I remember I worked so hard on this video, the hardest I've ever worked on a video, and it was crap. And it was, and again, I was laughing at myself earlier when I was talking about zombies, people that just make guides, because they are needed, but like it's all been done before, especially if you're making guides about a map that's been out for like 3 years. So I made a guide for Origins to build the ice staff, and you know, you push publish and nobody watches it, and it's just the most demoralizing thing. It just destroys you, like
Yeah.
you were saying. And kind of like I said earlier, I was kind of asking you about the success of the zombies alert. What the people don't see at home is that you were putting in, like you said, hours a day on Twitter, like talking about all this stuff. And I think that
But
it's,
even building the set too, right? You try to like
yeah.
recreate. So that's what I'm saying. Like all the work that's like unseen, right? It's like
Mm.
people see the video, like you're saying, like you know, you hit publish and then that's what people see. But like a lot of times there's a lot of work before that
um,
that you have to put in and prep to get there, right? Like people don't see it all, right? And it's yeah, time consuming. A lot of times it's a big investment, right? It's like spending money on like, you know, you always gotta have the best equipment, you gotta have this and that, you know, and it's like it's never enough, right? But I think if there's one thing, it's like, yeah, if you just put it out there and whatever happens, happens, and um, that's really the only way to get a actual reaction of what you're doing, right? If you think it's good enough for you and you put it out, then that's you know, you kind of have to see what happens.
yeah.
All right, well, is that all for the night?
Yeah. I mean, I could talk to Ed for hours. I feel like we got a lot in common, but yeah.
All right, well, is there anything that you want to shout out, Ed? Do you got any projects going on? Anything you want to talk about?
Not now.
No? Okay. All right, well,
Well, thanks for coming on, Ed. Not to talk over you, Riley, but if you ever do want to come back on the podcast, let us know. We are always more than
Yeah.
happy to chat with people. It's awesome to have people come on and hang out with
Yeah, no,
us.
for sure. Yeah, thanks for reaching out, Riley. Again, it's
yeah.
been a long time.
Yeah.
Like I mentioned, I've been very busy and out of like the YouTube game, but I've been catching some of the episodes you guys have been doing. It's been great to see. Like you know, again, it goes back to like you guys are putting in the work, and you know, little by little, you know, I noticed like when you sent me the first episode, you know, like I like the idea. Actually, if there's one thing I will shout out is I like the way you guys are doing the podcast with like dividing the episodes too. So you do the big episode and then you put the smaller bits of like important information that you guys do. I think that's really smart. Um, so yeah, I think just yeah, keep doing what you're doing, and yeah, I'm more than happy to come in anytime you guys would like me to come back.
All right, cool.
Awesome.
Thank you. So, subscribe, like the video, share it if you liked it even more, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.